So let's talk about something very, very interesting that happened a couple of weeks ago. I think it was on January the 7th that the USDA, whatever they're called, the USDA Food and Agriculture, no, I don't know. I don't know really know what USDA stands for really, but it doesn't really matter. The Food and Administration's Department, whatever, whatever it's called, the Food Administration Department. Let's just call it for what it simply is in America. They released new food guidelines, updated between the years of 2025 to 2030, and literally what they did, or pretty much what they did, was taking the old food pyramid and invert it, and say that eat real food. And they released a photo of an inverted food pyramid with foods that you should eat on top and foods that you should avoid on the bottom. On the top is beef, steak, chicken, eggs, milk, cheese, vegetables, Brussels sprouts, carrots, and so on. All the healthy stuff. Basically, a steak dinner and a Caesar salad, essentially. You know, the stuff that you know is healthy. And on the bottom is whole grains foods, processed carbohydrates, bread, pasta, white rice, and so on. All the stuff that you know really isn't healthy. Literally the inverse of the old food pyramid, which I grew up with, which, we're always told that, oh, this is what you should eat, and, stay away from fatty foods, stay away from chicken, stay away from eggs, stay away from beef. It's unhealthy for you. Eat whole grains, eat vegetables, eat fish, which I guess is healthy, and, have a cereal, have vegetables, have lentils, have beets, have whatever. Just avoid the meat because that's bad. Meat's bad is essentially what they said. And now all of a sudden they're flipping the script, which is good, but it presents a very, very important problem. And that very important problem is the following. If you say A for a long while, and then all of a sudden you flip on, you flip totally and you start saying B, and now B is the universal truth. Well, that does something to your trust. Because as much as I appreciate the USDA changing their guidelines, it's still a little untrustworthy, if you know what I mean. Because the tendency to ask oneself, what are they up to really here? What are they cooking in here? That's really what's going on through my mind. And it should go through your mind as well. If somebody's telling you that the sky is green for years and years and years, and you know it's blue, but they keep telling you that the sky is green and green and green, and then all of a sudden they flip totally and they start saying, no, the sky is actually blue. We agree with you. You're like, yeah, sure. Congrats on catching up with truth. But what are you really doing here? You said that the sky was green for so many years. Now all of a sudden you showed no signs to change. You showed no incentives to change your mind. Now all of a sudden you want to change. Now all of a sudden you're saying the same thing that I said for all these years. What are you really doing here? What are you planning here, really? Are you planning to put something into the meat? Are you, back to the food pyramid. Are you planning to make make the meat vegan? Are you planning to introduce lab-induced meat or lab-grown meats? I mean, what are you really doing here? Think about that. And also, if you're running a business, don't do that. Don't do it, in a sudden, abrupt, and brash manner. Rather, gradually introduce the change and explain the change of heart that you've had. Maybe the USDA has done that. Obviously they've got a newly elected, or I shouldn't say newly elected because he's been in office for over a year, but they have a newer administration that seems to be focused on what really is healthy and what's not healthy. And the bottom line is, from a persuasion standpoint, you could shoot yourself in the foot theoretically if you start doing this too much. Just be mindful of it. If you want to learn more about persuasion and business and so on, then get subscribed to my email list. The link to do so is in the episode description wherever you're watching and or listening to this, and I'll see you there.